Welcome to another edition of the Insider Hoop Scoop. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, I know this is your favorite topic, Red Raider basketball. Beautiful day out here on Texas Tech campus. What else could you ask for?
Yeah, I guess R.J. Hampton signing. Although there are mixed emotions on that as well. But yeah, all's well right now.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I mean, recruiting, Red Raider basketball recruiting is as hot as it's ever been, right? Ever. Look, there's 7 guys signed already. Number 16 class in the country, according to 24/7 Sports, second in the Big 12, and they just added a grad transfer. I think this was a huge deal. Judging from your story, I think you agree. Getting T.J. Holyfield, grad transfer from Stephen F. Austin, to come over really solidified this recruiting class and this roster by providing quality size inside. What's your thought about T.J. Holyfield, Joe?
Yeah, surefire starter. I don't think there's much question about that. You know, I mean, you can talk about all his physical skills and his abilities, and they are considerable. But you also, I mean, this team is going to have the physical ability to beat anybody in the country next year, right? But of course, one of the things, maybe the most important thing to the team making it to the national championship game this last year, was those intangibles, right? Yeah. The experience, the leadership, the accountability, the ability to eliminate distractions, that sort of thing. And a guy named Lawrence Odiase, who may turn out to be the biggest loss of all, even though he's the least heralded of those who have left, probably. And it's because of that leadership and the intangibles that guy brought. Chris Beard said the greatest leader he's ever coached. Right? You don't replace that easily. But in a guy like T.J. Holyfield, I think you're getting some of that. You're getting a veteran player who's been around. This is going to be a pretty young team. Yeah. So this is a guy who's seen the miles. He's been around the block. A very calm, poised sort of a player, unflappable. I think he's a smart guy. He's certainly got a high basketball IQ. You can see that by watching how he plays. So, I mean, you really needed to do something to give you the best shot at replacing those intangibles that are lost. I think Holyfield is a pretty good hope at being able to do that.
Yeah, I agree with a lot you said there. I think, to me, he's a replacement for Owens because he's really like a shot blocker. I believe you pointed out to me a couple of days ago that he led Stephen F. Austin. I think he broke the school record for block shots, and come on, that's impressive, man.
In only 3 years,
right? And you're adding that to your roster. I mean, and then you look at how efficient he is. You talked about the intangibles. The tangibles are there: his size, his length, the block shots on defense. But then also he's such an efficient player on the offensive end, which Owens really was in a sneaky way. The only thing that wasn't really efficient about his game was his three-point shooting, which, I mean, he had some big shots in the tournament from three-point land. Holyfield is a bona fide three-point shooter. Look, you throw in Khalid Thomas as the other big, who I think we agree will probably start next to Holyfield. You have 2 athletic, long guys who can both protect the rim, but both can stretch the floor on offense too, in this motion offense. So, man, I'm excited. I think Holyfield was huge. Now, Malik Ondigo is in the transfer portal. He left the door open to return. Look, Tyreke Smith has been on campus here. He may still actually be on campus at the time that we're recording this. So it's obvious that Chris Beard wants him. From some of the videos, the Instagram videos, some of the stuff on Twitter that we saw. Yeah, the arm wrestling with Coach Sutton, all that. It looked like a good time. I mean, touring campus on the Lime scooters and all that, steak and lobster for dinner later that night. So, and then one guy's, pizza. I mean, it looks like they did it right, which I'm not surprised. Normally, if even a big time recruit, if they visit and Chris Beard really wants them, he gets them. Let's be honest. So, Tyreke Smith is a 6'8". He's a 4. He's a big. He's a guy from Trinity Christian Cedar Hill. He was a one-time A&M signee who got out of his letter of intent after the coaching change there in Aggie Land. So it looks like he was wrong for too long, but he might get right in joining this Texas Tech basketball program. So what potentially do you see Tyreke Smith bringing to the program if he does, in fact, sign with the Red Raiders?
Yeah, well, I was talking about Holyfield as being an intangible replacement for Norris Odiase.
Right.
Tyreke Smith could be sort of the physical
Right,
replacement,
yeah.
because
He's a big dude.
he is. I mean, he's a big banger sort of a guy, physical interior, true post player sort of a guy, and I don't necessarily expect him to give you huge immediate production. I'm not saying it's impossible. He's a talented guy, but he's a guy that, look, if you need some pop on the inside, somebody to crack some heads occasionally, that's a guy who can go in there and do it. And you do need that sometimes,
Right.
Which is why one of the reasons is Odiase got so many minutes. So I think that's the kind of player you're looking at. And, Odiase was a guy who just, steadily developed over the course of his career, and in a lot of ways he never became a huge stats guy necessarily, put up big numbers, but so valuable in so many little ways. And I could see Tyreke Smith being the same sort of a player over the course of his career.
Absolutely. I mean, he could go in and play team defense and help you on the boards, which may not register a lot of stats, but be, like you said, like 5-10 minutes here or there throughout Big 12 play. I mean, that could be the difference. It really could be in a conference race like the Big 12. Right. All right, well, let's see. Let's end this with one more thing. You and I kind of had this going on the board, but I want you to give me, this is way too early, but give me your way too early starting five for next season, Joe.
Okay, Holyfield, Thomas, Davide Moretti, Jamias Ramsey, and then the area where I think we part company a little bit, I'm going to go with Deshawn Corp. And some of that is just kind of a little bit of a seniority deal. I mean, I think people are like, well, is it Corp? Is it Edwards? Corp's been around a little bit longer. He'll be a junior. Edwards a sophomore. Those sorts of coaches just like seniority, a lot. He doesn't bring the offensive ability quite that Edwards. Edwards has the potential to be a really big scorer, if not next year, which he could next year, but certainly a year on down the line after that. At some point, he's going to explode and be a tremendous offensive player. But I just really like what Corprew brings on the glass. And Coach Beard, and it may have been just kind of like coach speak, but he said, hey, mark it down right now. He's going to be one of the best players in the Big 12 next year.
Yes.
All right, so he likes him. And if that's good enough for me, if Coach Beard likes him, so that's who I'm going with there.
Yeah, Beard did say that. He also said he expects Colin Edwards to make as big of a jump as Davide Moretti did. So Moretti went from being on the bench to being a starter and one of the more efficient, explosive offensive players in the Big 12, if not the country. I think Colin Edwards is going to make a similar jump, just like Coach Beard said. He also used to say that Brandon Francis was one of the best players on the team. He was a senior. He came off the bench. He was invaluable as a sixth man last year. I think he played starters minutes. I could see Corporate playing starters minutes, as a matter of fact. And I think we're really splitting hairs here, but I agree with you everything except for that two switch. I think Edwards starts. I think he's going to be a first team or second team all Big 12 type of player. I think he's really going to be something special. I saw a real spark from him throughout the tournament. I think it clicked for him. I think he started to put things together, and just another off-season developing this program, man. I think Edwards is going to be just a real force. So like I said, I think we're splitting hairs. I think both players are going to be very good, integral parts of the team next year, and they're going to win a lot of games no matter how they do it, to be honest. So, and they may change it up, but that's my best guess as of right now. But Mighty Joe, great stuff from you as always. Thank y'all for watching, and until next time.